because I forgot my Bible at home. See, the important part of it. All right. Today our reading is from Psalm 34, verse 8. O taste and see that the Lord is good. Happy are those who take refuge in him. The word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God. Thank you. So, again, we are in the third Sunday of Advent, and we are experiencing Christmas through a unique way. As it said, we're experiencing Christmas in a unique way through our senses. And I'll be honest, every year a pastor has to come up with a different way of talking about Christmas because it's the same story. Not that it's a bad story, but it's the same story. And this had us really looking at our senses, how we react, how we respond in our senses to Christmas. So the first week we talked about the sights of Christmas, those things, those signs that we see that reminds us of Christmas. And then last week we talked about the sounds of Christmas, those Christmas carols and everything. And this week we talk about the tastes of Christmas. So, as I've done the last couple weeks, I'm going to ask you, what tastes remind you of Christmas? What is a taste that you have to have during Christmas? Anybody? Candy cane, chocolate. What was that? Cinnamon. Anybody else? Peanut butter fudge. What was that? Sugar cookies. What else was it? Fudge. For me, even though I can pretty much get it year round, the stores have a tendency to run out of it during this time of year. Peppermint mocha creamer. Love peppermint mocha creamer. And then you get the coffee shops that have the peppermint mocha. Oh, that's good stuff. If you've not tried it, I'm not getting paid for this. Check out Black Dog. They have some great peppermint mocha. But we have these tastes. And interestingly enough, I looked this up. Did you know that taste is second only to smell when it comes to memory triggers? In fact, smell and taste are so closely related that it kind of makes sense. So if you remember a taste from when you were a kid, if you taste it again, it'll kind of take you back. It'll trigger some memories of maybe joyous times for Christmas. We all have different tastes that we just have to have. I had somebody at the Radnor service, and he said, I almost said spiked eggnog. And I said, well, you could have. I don't care. It's fine. But something else that I like, but it's not just a Christmas thing, but I like potato chips. I have yet to find a potato chip that I won't eat. To be perfectly honest. Does anybody remember when Lay's a couple years ago came out with like a bunch of different flavors? Tried them all. Tried every single one of them. Actually liked most of them, to be honest. Even the Reuben sandwich one, which some people are like, oh, that's disgusting. It was actually good. I liked it. But I also know I can't just sit down and eat or have a bag in front of me because I'm just going to go through all of them. And it's not a good thing to do. Well, anyone want to try this chip? Anybody interested? It looks innocent, doesn't it? Now, if I put it in this mix, the second picture, you're not even going to be able to tell which chip it is, are you? You're not going to recognize. You see, you wouldn't be able to see a difference. But I guarantee you taste one, the third one. It's part of the Paqui One Chip Challenge. This is the hottest chip in the world. They sell it one chip at a time. It's in a box, one chip. That's it. And the reasoning being that it mixes two different peppers. The Carolina Reaper pepper, which, for those who know spice, there's something called the Schofield units, which is the level of spiciness. The Carolina Reaper is around 1.7 million Schofield units. And they also go ahead and mix in the Napa Viper pepper, which is around 1.4 million Schofield units. In comparison, a jalapeno is between 4,000 to 8,500. It's spicy. It's a little hot. Now, I've already said I'm not going to try this one. Yeah, I'm not. No. I'll try just about anything, but I'm not trying this one. But in fact, it has prominent labeling on it saying for adults only, not for children, not for anyone pregnant or with underlying health issues. Alrighty. Some of the warnings include can cause a burning sensation in the mouth, throat, and stomach. Duh. May cause nausea, vomiting, heartburn, chest pain, and difficulty breathing. Anybody ready to try it? Stephen, you interested? Why did I think that you actually would be interested in trying it? You've actually had it. Okay, you're nuts. But the thing is, this is high level. Now that one's marked the 2022 one. They actually came out with a 2023, but it became so dangerous that even on their website, they posted that they are pulling it from shelves because people are still trying it. People who shouldn't try it. So you might smell the difference, but honestly, it's not going to hit you till you taste it. The taste is going to be what makes the difference known. Now you may say, well, what the heck does this have to do with Advent and love? And no, I'm not going to talk about Burning Love from Elvis. I am talking about love, though. Now, in the English language, I've said before, I like to study language. In the English language, we have one word for love. Love. Now, in the Greek language, though, there are mainly four that we look at. You may have heard these before. Eros, which is romantic love. Storge, which is family love. Philia, which is brotherly love. And agape, which is God's divine love. Now, each type of love may seem the same until you experience them, until you taste them. You don't actually know the difference between these types of love. They all may be under the heading of love, but they can be very, very different. There's a special showing of love when we have our soldiers, our police officers, our firefighters willing to lay down their lives for others. This is the philia. This is the brotherly love. But the other loves, well, they're even different as well. And quite honestly, until you experience or taste the agape love, the God's divine love, you don't know what it's really like. It may seem like philia or brotherly love since Jesus laid down his life for us. And after all, he was sent on Christmas to eventually lay down his life for us. But it is different, isn't it? Soldiers, police officers, firefighters, and others lay down their lives. But they are saving the finite, the physical body. Jesus went way beyond that. He saves the infinite, the immortal soul. You see, no other being can show love like that. Only God in the form of Jesus Christ could do that, and only God in the form of Jesus Christ was willing to do that. You see, it's different, isn't it? It may still fall under the heading of love, but it's different. You see, we see this love not only in the form of his physical presence, but also in the Last Supper, the Eucharist. He told his disciples, "This is my body and this is my blood." He told them that. That's something we recite when we recite the responsive reading and everything when we take part in the Eucharist. We recall that. We remember those words. And in the Eucharist, we can taste the love, the goodness of God. Not in the actual taste of the elements, because let's be honest, sometimes those elements don't taste real good. But in the sacrifice and in the love that God gave us, the way he showed us, that's what we taste, that's what we experience. We should experience this starving, this need for sustenance. I still remember doing the 30-hour famine with our youth group. And I remember we would fast for 30 hours and we would break our fast with communion. It was the first time any of us had eaten in 30 hours. We should have that starving, that desire, that I don't know how else to describe it, that need for sustenance that only God can provide in the form of Jesus Christ. It's only by tasting this love that we not only live, but truly live. Understand that there is a difference between life lived, love given, and the life and love that God provides through Jesus Christ. And it can't happen by any other means but this. This is the only love that does it. John 6:53 says, Jesus said to them, "Very truly I tell you, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you will have no life in you." It is only that love, it is only that life that truly gives us an opportunity to live. We are dead until we taste that life-giving love that is shared with us. And that's the part we have to really consider. You know, I mentioned before, this is the beginning. Advent is the beginning of the church year. This is the beginning of the story. It isn't the end. Just because it's the end of the year doesn't mean it's the end of the story. This is the beginning. And we continue on into Easter, and that's the time that we talk about the death and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. But honestly, it couldn't happen if he didn't come in the first place. If he hadn't experienced life and walked in life with each and every one of us. He lived a life. He had a human physical form. And he experienced life. He experienced love. He experienced hatred. He experienced all those bits and pieces. And he still chose to lay his life down. So once we have experienced that love, we have experienced that life, we are then charged and held responsible for sharing that gospel. Not just the fun part of Christmas, but all of it. The story that existed, that came about, that started on Christmas. The gospel of the one who has the only life-giving love that exists. This Christmas, we have to remember the love that came down, and we have a pretty good track record of doing that. But understand that that's just the beginning of the story. It's just part of the story. It's part of a very long, important gospel message. It's the love that was willing to lay down everything for us to live forever. So what do we do with this at Christmas? Isn't that tough? I mean, how do we talk about the gospel message and be like, yeah, he was a cute baby and then he died? I mean, please don't think I'm making light of the gospel message, but understand that it's tough to do. But we can also talk about the fact that he loved us so much that he was willing to live a life with us. He was willing to come and live a mortal life so he could understand us better. He could connect with us better and then truly show the love that he has shown. He came down choosing to do this. He came down choosing to come down, choosing to die, choosing to love. So this week I have been talking to one of our United Methodist counselors type things, and we're looking at things that we're going to be doing in the new year. And as many of you know, I'm kind of a list person. And I said, can you give me step-by-step instructions on how to do this project he was talking about? He said, honestly, I can't. He said, I don't know exactly how your church responds or what your church needs or the different pieces that need to come together. I don't know your people, the people that you work and serve right beside. I don't know them. He said, you do. He said, I can give you suggestions. So here's the thing. I'm not going to tell you exactly how you reach out to people this Christmas with gospel. I can't do that because I don't know your mission field. I don't know how or who you're going to connect with. Pray about it. And remember that our goal is to show love. To show the love that we've been given. The love that none of us ever will deserve, ever can earn. So one of the best ways we can show love to those around us is to share the gospel that was born out of love. So that's my challenge. It's really simple. Share the gospel of love along with the love of Christmas. We're good at sharing the love of Christmas. Let's share the gospel of love right along with it. Because I'm betting at least a couple of you might get together with family. That's a mission field right there. So how can we do that? Let's bow our heads.